Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another quick CYPRX in-depth video breakdown. In today's video, you're not going to want to miss 1 second of this video, especially if you are an XDC holder. Showing you all how absolutely monumental XDC is going to be in the future, all the partnerships, all the interconnected webs that are being built right now for the new financial infrastructure. In today's video breakdown, we're going to jump into XDC, partnerships, interconnected webs, all those things. If you enjoy these videos, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the platform. We do appreciate the love and support. Before we jump into the documents that I have for you all today, the fundamentals, okay? Let's just play some video clips real fast of Andre Casterman confirming that the XDC network was presenting its tokenization solution in front of large financial institutions.
So, Andre, you've been handpicking the best people in our industry to appear at our event.
Yes, indeed. And I'm terribly proud of the work we have achieved over the last few weeks to handpick really the most recent innovations that are of importance for our target audience, banks, alternative lenders, and institutional investors. And during the Investor Day, indeed, we're going to have the XDC network team also presenting how much they are focusing on trade finance and the tokenization of trade finance to grow the community of investors.
And then the CEO of Impel going on to mention and talk about how the next step, taking it to the next level of this digital transformation, of this seamless movement of value, is by integrating digital assets into the payload.
One of the many projects that I got involved with was called the XDC network, which is a fork of Ethereum. But in essence, it has everything that Ethereum has, but it's everything Ethereum wants to be. So our ISO 20022 API can't do everything the Swift or separate model can do. Think about if you're going to wire funds cross-border from bank to bank, you still use Nostro accounts. You still use the central banking settlement system at the end of the day to settle up. That's all the same. But with Impel's solution, you have a lower cost, operating cost than you would with the traditional providers, and you have your own peer-to-peer mechanism to communicate. So that's the easiest way for any existing entity to get involved. If they want to take it to the next level, our next gen solution, that's when we start adding digital assets in the messages payload for instant settlement. So that would be a blend of the two, as we had talked about earlier. The next generation model is adding the digital assets in the messages payload.
Keep that in mind, that this is not by accident. This is all information that is readily available that's not going to get pumped out to the masses. And I'm going to show you in today's video breakdown how they're literally building up what is about to be the most explosive growth that we've seen, the birth of a new asset class. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to buckle up, okay? So I'm going to share my screen with you, and let's dim this down just a little bit so that way you can actually see the entire thing. I got it on my big monitor here. And we're going to start just by showing you all some interconnected webs and some partnerships. Now, they're not going to announce these closed-door partnerships, these closed-door meetings, things of that nature. But again, that's why here at CYPRX, we're here to pick up the pieces of the puzzle and make it make logical sense. So keep in mind, Andre Casterman, before we get into this, again, reverting back to Andre Casterman, said just a couple days ago that the XDC network is the only layer 1 network on the ITFA.
XDC network is the only member of ITFA providing a layer 1 network.
If you're not too familiar with what that is, we're going to get into that. But 3 weeks ago here, we can see IFC, or the International Finance Cooperation, and DBS Bank have established a $500 million facility under the GTLP to enhance trade in Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America, targeting the $2.5 trillion global trade gap. Okay. Now, what is the problem that XDC is solving, and what are they doing? Let's listen to Sunil Senapati, the CEO of the XDC network. Again, they are one of the only layer 1 networks solving a problem in global trade finance. Keep that in mind.
What exactly the product does. So we are doing two things in our solution. So XDC Trade Network brings end-to-end digitization of trade documents. So any document used in a trade can be digitized using our product. And how are we digitizing it? There is a standard we follow, which is coming from ICC. There is a utility which has been developed by Singapore government authorities. IMDA is an Infocom Media Authority. So what IMDA has done is that created a trade trust as a utility, which clearly gives you a prescription how a data must be created, how a data must be stored, how it can be endorsed, and how it can be transferred. So this is all about rights of a document. So this is integrated into XDC network, which is the protocol itself. Now what we do is we create these documents on our solution, which is the document layer where we create these documents. Once these documents are created, we provide funding for these documents. So this is the second functionality, which is very, very required functionality. So as I told you, the trade is around 30 trillion. Roughly, the latest report from ADB, which is Asian Development Bank, they recently announced as early as I think last week, is around about trade deficit of $2.5 trillion, which means wow, $2.5 trillion worth of trade is not getting materialized because there is no capital. And why there is no capital? There are many reasons why there is not enough capital available, but the key reason for not getting capital is primarily these requests are coming from SME. What we are doing, we are changing the game itself. If a party is coming and seeking for finance, we see this request is backed by what documents. If the documents we have, which clearly proves there is a ship, there's a cargo, and the cargo is loaded into the ship and it is going to a buyer who is also done KYC. So it's a very clear indication that there is an actual shipment happening. And all of this data is created on our solution and verified and can be transferred to the one who is actually providing liquidity. So you see where we are going from for this. We are basically bringing a very clear visibility to the entire trade. And this visibility is offered to you through a very reliable source and in such a manner that these documents also can be transferred from one party to another party. And that way, absolute visibility to the trade happens on our solution.
Okay, so we have this announcement that just took place from the IFC and DBS launching a $500 million facility to promote trade flows in emerging markets. Okay, now let's head over to the ITFA, keeping in the back of our mind what Andre Casterman said about how XDC is the only layer one network on the ITFA. Okay, so let's go to banks. Who else is on the ITFA? Well, DBS is. You can see right down here. DBS Bank Limited. Oh, what do you think? It's a coincidence? If we saw the IFC here as well, we go to consultancy. And we can see right here, IFC, International Finance Cooperation. Again, keeping in mind that DBS and IFC just did what? Launched a $500 million facility to promote trade flows in emerging markets. And again, this is how you can relate back networking and partnerships behind the scenes. So if you go to FinTech, who's a part of the ITFA as well, we'll scroll all the way down here, XDC Network. They're all partners. They're all partners. Okay? They are all partners to these interconnecting, these interoperable, interconnected, interwoven webs, again, that they're not going to make public. Let me show you another crazy one. I know everybody was recently hyped about BlackRock's announcements with the tokenization and so on and so forth, and securitize. All right, we'll get into that in just one second, but it's so much deeper than that. Because we remember, this was from 3 weeks ago, BlackRock enters asset tokenization race with new fund on the Ethereum network. That's important. The asset manager giant also made a strategic investment in asset tokenization company Securitize. We already know Securitize, right? We can see over here, USTY is one in a suit of tokenized securities set to be issued on the XDC network, with TradeTech serving as an engine providing end-to-end securitization services that allow trade originators to build liquidity pools through their own regulated XDC network-based tokens. So we can see Securitize, new USTY security will be tokenized by Securitize on what? The XDC network. Check this out. Okay, so again, we got BlackRock building out this tokenization solution as a part of the growing trend of digitalization, mutual funds, and securities on the blockchain. The investment giant last week officially unveiled its first, keep that in mind, its first tokenized fund on the Ethereum network. Listen to what this gentleman says about how first generation, second generation blockchain technology and protocols will be replaced by third generation technology over time, i.e. Ethereum, second generation. right? Third generation being XDC network. Take a second and listen.
It's called the XDC network, which is a fork of Ethereum. But in essence, it has everything that Ethereum has, but it's everything Ethereum wants to be.
So let's talk a little bit about the blockchain evolution with respect to smart contracts. So Ethereum had started out and is still a dominant player in generation 2 and 3. It is generation 2. And there are over 47 million contracts developed on smart contracts developed on the Ethereum network. And the growth, though, has leveled off. And you can see here, there we go. See here that the distinction between the growth rate and what Ethereum is doing, that gap is being filled in by third generation projects. And so that's part of, the data that suggests first has come in, second has come in, and now third generation is really starting to take hold. Another way to look at that same third generation increase is if you look at a distributed finance, DeFi, and you look at the total amount of value locked in, and you look at the percentage of that total value locked in by chain, you see that over 90% of the value used to be Ethereum, and now it's dropped considerably to, say, less than 50% or thereabouts. And that trend will continue. And so again, third generation projects are coming in and taking significant positions within the marketplace. And that trend will continue. And so again, third generation projects are coming in and taking significant positions within the marketplace.
Okay, right? So keep that in mind. This may seem all euphoric and major breakout, all Ethereum, but it's their plan, and it's going to be their plan in the future, in my personal opinion, to build other tokenization solutions on third generation networks and blockchain protocols. And they're just using the second generation to test. Okay. And you can see that through the networks, through the partnerships, through the video clips that I'm showing you all in today's video breakdown. We got Andre Casterman openly admitting that the XDC network is displaying its tokenization solutions in front of large financial institutions. Why would that be? What would that be for? For just no reason? You think that these financial institutions are just going to these summits, going to these meetings for absolutely no reason? No, it's so that way they can eventually utilize and migrate. We got interconnected webs, partnerships via new announcements that have just come out that they're not going to make public. Interconnected through other organizations leading in the global trade finance space. Okay. Then we have BlackRock coming out, talking about how it's getting into the tokenization company Securitize. And we already know, look, I mean, it's right here, the devil's in the details. Now, let me scroll right down here. Check this out. The fund represented by blockchain-based BUIDL token or BUIDL token, whatever that, okay, and is fully backed by cash, U.S. Treasury bills, and repurchase agreements, BlackRock said. The investment manager said Securitize will act as a transfer agent and tokenized platform, while TradeFi institution BNY Mellon is the custodian of the fund. Anchorage Digital Bank, NA, BitGo, Coinbase, and Fireblocks will also participate in the fund's ecosystem. And we know USTY will be tokenized by digital asset leader Securitize on the XDC network. This is all pre-planned. This is all coming into fruition. It's going to take time, but you can clearly see that they are building out this new financial infrastructure. Don't sleep on the XDC network. This is not financial advice. Do your own research, connect the dots yourself, but this information is very easy to find. It's just not going to be broadcasted to you. So you're going to need to take it upon yourself to put in a little bit of elbow grease to make the connections. And if you don't want to do that, then subscribe to the platform so we can continue to do that for you. Smash that thumbs up button. We do appreciate the love and support. And if anybody wants access to any of this research, I'm telling you all right now, it's so much valuable research that never reaches the mainstream. Video breakdowns, panel discussions, fundamentals, all the things that the mainstream is never, ever going to bring to your attention. PDF documents, private meetings, all in the CYPRX research channel, delivered by our researchers that are global. We have researchers in the Middle East, in Australia, in Canada, in the United States, okay? Come join a community of like-minded individuals that are tapped into this information. Learn how to properly dollar cost average in, learn how to analyze the markets properly, all through education, repetition, and showing up when no one else does. Many blessings to you guys. I hope that you all enjoyed this video breakdown, and I will see you all in the next one.